Yep, I'm not even going to waste any time here. This is going to be a very short video because I'm very tired. It has been a long semester. It has been a long year. So no time wasted. I'm going to just dive right in. This is my spring semester and overall fourth year recap. Hey, hello, my name is JoJo and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. All right, so I'm gonna just say right off the bat, if I look a little janky or just generally exhausted, I literally just got home from my last day of externship, and it was a long day. I am usually pretty exhausted by the time I get home on externship days. And with it being the last day, there was also like just a lot of extra socialization and interaction happening that doesn't typically happen. Like there was a whole like extern goodbye party and extra conversations that I don't typically have to have throughout the day. So a lot of extra like having to put on the socially acceptable smile so that I could interact with people without seeming like I absolutely hate all of them. So yes, I feel like in my last recap video, because it was 2 months combined, I actually did quite a lot of talking. No, I like gave a lot of updates in that video. And quite honestly, not much has changed since, other than the fact that everything has ended for the semester. And my grade in my class, which I ended with a C, which for me is like, would typically be absolutely unacceptable. But at the end of the day, it's a passing grade. C's get degrees. It is the final class I ever have to take in my program, and I just could not make myself care anymore. It ended just about how you might expect a class like that would end, very awkwardly, very much like we were doing presentations and stuff right up until the end. I was the final presentation in the class, and I made sure that I ended right on time, because I was running out of time to present. They're like 15-minute presentations, and I only had about 10 minutes to do my entire 15-minute presentation. So I sped run through it and made sure that we still got out of there on time, and everyone was very appreciative of that. I did not go a minute over the end of class, because I also really wanted to be out of that classroom. So class ended. I've talked enough about how boring that class was. There's no need for me to talk about that any further. What I will say is that I'm very happy that I'm finally done with classes. I never have to take another single class in my PhD program. I only have 1 year left, and that year will be entirely dedicated to internship and my dissertation, which I will get to in a second. But yeah, the class that I was teaching this semester, or co-teaching with one of my lab mates, was absolutely wonderful. Even though I've only actually taught 2 classes, I have been a TA for a bunch of classes, and this is by far my favorite class that I've ever been either a teaching assistant or teaching fellow of. They were just such a sweet group of students. It was a relatively small class. There were only 14 of them. And we had a really lovely last day. My co-instructor and I bought them pizza, and I baked them little goodies. And we just had like a nice little end of semester, just like gathering where we reflected on the class and reflected on just what it was like to be a part of the group. My co-instructor and I also got some feedback from them for when she teaches the class next year, because we're pretty sure she's going to teach the class again next year with just a different co-instructor, since I won't be able to do it. So yeah, it was a very lovely end of semester, just like gathering. And that's really it for school. As far as clinical work goes, like I said, today was my last day of my externship, my full-time externship at the VA. My part-time externship, that was a continuation of last year, actually ended a couple of days ago. That was my official last day there. That was a much more emotional goodbye than today was. I will just say that. You can imagine, given the fact that I stayed there for an extra year when I didn't have to. I absolutely loved my externship last year. I loved it again this year. I was very sad to say goodbye to everyone. Me and my supervisor in particular had a very lovely goodbye. Even though like it's not goodbye, it's really like see you later, because I'm very much going to stay in contact with everyone at the clinic that I was externing at. I told them to keep me on the listserv. They're not allowed to take me off the listserv. I also still will have access to their events calendar, and I can still go to the events that they put on. So yeah, I'm really just like looking forward to keeping in touch with all the folks there. My VA externship, I was very happy to say goodbye. I will, and I think I alluded to this in my last update. I will eventually talk about all of the BS that I had to put up with at my externship at the VA this year. That is contributing to my very happy mood that it's over. I'm not going to do that now though, because I want to go take a nap. I will just say, yes, I'm very happy that it's over. And you would think that given how happy I am that this VA externship is over, you're probably like, but JoJo, you're going to a VA for internship next year. Yes, I am. And I'm still very much looking forward to it, because I think I just got a very particular group of patients this year at my externship that doesn't seem to be the typical sort of experience for other externs. And like through conversation, it became more and more apparent to me as the year went on that yes, the particular demographic that I was being exposed to was very different than like the general demographic that most of the other externs had. So I'm giving the VA the benefit of the doubt and saying that this was just like a one-off sort of fluke situation. Not a fluke. Fluke's the wrong word. More so like this is just like an outlier. Like my experience was an outlier at the VA broadly. And I will be at a different VA next year with, from what I've been told, again, a very different demographic that will be less problematic. So still very much looking forward to that. But I couldn't have ran out of the VA faster today. I was gone. The minute I turned in my ID card, I was out of there. So I will say, despite my personal experience at the VA, generally I am still very happy and like proud of the fact that I got to work at a VA this year and work with this population. I think it taught me so much. We actually, hold on, I'm gonna grab it. At the beginning, the very beginning, during orientation, they had us write these little letters to ourselves that they gave us back today while we were saying goodbye. And I think I'll read mine. I'll read it. So I wrote, "Dear JoJo, I hope you enjoyed the rest of orientation and made some new friends over the year. I know you're a bit nervous about starting and moving on to your internship, but don't forget to stay in this moment. Remember how nervous you were before starting? You made it. Always remember how much you learned and grew this year. Not only did you learn about how to be your best for your patients, but you learned how to be your best for yourself. You became more comfortable in your skin and your authenticity. Carry that with you. You'll be great and you'll do great. Love, JoJo. So I thought that was really sweet, especially given what my experience has been this year. So this is like the one thing I was like, oh, that's actually really sweet. And I thought it was cute. But anyway, yeah, so that's clinical work. In terms of research, my IRB is still not approved and we're getting so close to the end of May. At this point, I'm willing to do whatever they're telling me I need to do and change whatever I need to change, as long as it means I can start collecting data soon. So I have yet another revision to put in. I'm going to do my best to try to navigate that without changing too much, but I have to submit another revision. And hopefully by the time fall gets here, data collection will have started, because yeah, I'm getting nervous about actually being able to complete my dissertation at this point. I feel like I'm at a loss and I'm like backed into a corner. But yeah, that's where things with research stand. Overall feelings. I'm ready to be on a beach, okay? I'm actually flying home to Florida in a few days to be with my parents. I'm very much looking forward to it, because literally the day after I get there, my mom and I are just going to a beach, just us two, and we're just gonna spend all day on a beach, which my mom does not do. My mom actually does not enjoy being out in the sun. But this was her idea. She offered for us to just like go spend the day lounging by a beach. It's like we're gonna go to a resort, so we're gonna be like pool beach situation. But yeah, we're just gonna be there all day, and I get to just listen to the sounds of the ocean and some music and sleep on a beach and drink on a beach and eat on a beach, and it's gonna be a great time. But I will be in Florida for all of June, so I probably won't record any videos or post any like edited videos while I'm down there. I also haven't gone live in over a year, so I want to make sure that I do that. But yeah, that's it, y'all. It's on to internship. When I come back, I will be starting internship. Like, that's crazy. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited. This is literally like the last leg of my journey before I graduate. And like I have said for a while now, like I am so ready to be done. So yeah, with that being said, 4th year is a wrap. So thank you for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end. I truly appreciate it. Leave me a comment down below if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos. As always, like, share, and subscribe. Click that little notification bell so you don't miss my next upload. And I'll see you in the next one.